Check, check, check. Testing, check, check, check. Testing, check, check, check. Check, check, check. Testing, check, check, check. Check, check, check. Testing, check, check, check. Cool. We're in. We're here. We're live once again for another live stream here at Betatron Risk. I'm Vortex46. Welcome back. Hope you, your family, friends, and everybody are doing well today on this Saturday, January 17th, 2026. Had a downscope day from yesterday for the NBA, but at the same time, Fridays are my worst betting days. Every so often I'll have a decent to a really good Friday, but most of the time, for some reason, Fridays just don't like me. So I had a reverse day with my predictions, picks, or whatever. Because Thursday I went 8-1 for college basketball and NBA combined, 7-1 on the NBA, 1-1 on college basketball. Yesterday, 0-2 on college basketball, and 1-6 for the NBA. So yeah, what can you do, right? So yeah, what can you do? It is what it is, and you just accept the results for what they were, and you hope for the best for the next day, which is today. With that, we are going to focus on these games. I was going over data, going over research, all of that. I think I found at least one thing for the Dallas game. It's real simple. Kind of hard to read this game just because, it's Utah, Dallas. Really wondering if I want to take the full game full game over or under on the game. If I want to take Dallas for their team total points, Utah to, fade Dallas to not, It's just one of those things that I was kind of trying to figure out. Like I said, I feel like I found a prop that I added with a parlay. Gonna take a chance tonight. It's a risky bet. Let's hope for the best. And a few of the other games I was able to actually find some stuff, but not pretty much all of them. But I wanted to at least dive into what I found for at least a few, go over the data for you all, and hope that whatever you hear, see, and everything take in, that it will be helpful for you doing your predictable picks for tonight's slate. I know there's NFL, but I'm pretty much done with the NFL for the season. My focus is on my favorite sport, and that is basketball. So, because I just love basketball way more than football. But let's dive into this stuff here. Utah Jazz are heading to the Dallas Mavericks here, which they recently played against each other. Utah won 122. I apologize. Lost 144 to 122 in this game here. The total went way above the mark here. What was it? Let me see what it was. It was 266. It was 236 at the time. It's 241 and a half currently. I don't think this line really moved that much. I'm looking at it here. It looked like it went 242 and a half, but it mainly has been sitting out at 241 most of the whole entire time that it's opened up. So like it really opened up at 242 and a half, and it's been just sitting at 241. If you do decide to take the total over, Utah's hitting at a 60% hit rate, while Dallas hitting at the under. Again, it went over in their most recent game, head-to-head wise. On the season, they're currently 2-1 to the over. So it's just whatever you're feeling for this game. If you decide to take the total over as a prediction spot here, it's up to you. Me personally, I really just don't know, because again, they scored 266. The total is 241. Maybe it goes under, right? But per the data over now that I've been using as of more recently over on the Moneyballer side here, this is what it says for this game. Even just with the spread stuff, with the total over under, this is what it says. As you see here, Mavericks, they're down scope when it's pertaining to the spread, when it's pertaining to the over under. Like I said, if you decide to go with the total over, they're 4-11 as favorites currently to the over. and they are at home. Let's see if we can find it here. But at home, they're 2-1, 66.7% to the over under at home specifically. But they're at even 3-3 to the over under at home in the last 14. So see what you want to do. But as favorites, they're 2-5 to the over under. So yeah, what can you do? Utah, they're 61%, 25 and 16 to the over on the season. And as dogs, they're 22 and 15 to the over as dogs. But as away dogs, since they're on the road again, they're 8 and 10 to the over under. So their games have been going under on the road as underdogs. So that's why I say you kind of want to pick your kind of poison, what you want to take with this game, right? Me personally, I said I'm going to go on ahead and take it because I mentioned this with my crew over at Top Sports Debate when I was doing my live stream, 2 days ago. I had mentioned one player, and it was the legend himself, who technically is not being very legendary because I kind of feel like he's probably going to be retiring soon, basically. But where are we looking at here? Here we go. I said, screw it, I'm going to take him tonight because I should have taken him on his... Actually, no, I got to do it here. I don't know why he's not popping up on the specific spot that I want to take him. So I have to actually go here, 3-pointers, go to the game. And there we go, Klay Thompson. They already got him minus 200 for three threes, right? He hit 6 in the last game against Utah, right? At home, he hit 6. So one of the main reasons that I said that you should take Klay in like I said, in the live stream that I did over on Top Sports Debate over on WAP.com is here, because prior to the 15th, he hit 4 straight games of four threes or more. He's 2-0. Well, at the time he was 2-0 on the season to hitting 4 or more against Utah, whether in both games were at Utah. So the question became, at home, would he hit 4 or 3? You know what I mean? What would he really do? And I even said that you may want to ladder him up to 4, maybe 5, and he finishes with 6. So that was a missed spot. So I decided to say screw it, and I took him for four threes, plus 196 on FanDuel here for him to get the actual spot. Everything that I'm talking about, if you want to join my Discord, search me up, Bet at Your Own Risk. This is where I post all my stuff. So I'm going to be posting everything that I already put in, and maybe post the stuff that I may put in during this live stream. So I took Klay Thompson to hit 4 threes tonight, or later today at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, because again, he loves shooting threes against the Utah Jazz. So there's that. But again, per the game, if anything, again, Dallas, they've been mostly going under. They went over against Utah. But again, also too, you can kind of tie into the head-to-head where most of the games are going under, right? But on the season specifically here, they are 2-1 to the over against each other on the season. 15th, they went over. They scored 273. This was at Utah. And then the next game at Utah, they went under. They hit 230, which the total was 244.5. But then they go over again on the 15th from 2 days ago at 236 total, and they scored 266. So pick your poison on what you want to do. Maybe it's a trend where they're in a spot where the total doesn't get the over and it goes under. Who knows? But that's pretty much what I feel like can happen. Next up, Celtics, Atlanta. This one's going to be more interesting. Why? Because 2 players are not playing, or should I say 2 players are, well, specifically Pritchard's not playing tonight. Porzingis is out still, and their sophomore Zachary, he's out. But then Dyson Daniels is questionable. Per this game, I'm gonna go ahead and take a chance on the first half total. I'm gonna take a chance on Atlanta. I kind of put this in a little bit prematurely, but I still kind of feel confident about Atlanta, right? But Per the data, again, on Moneyballer, this is what it says. The Hawks, specifically, ATS-wise, are 21 and 22. Boston's 22 and 18. I want to say there might be more of a slight lean towards possible Boston covering the now 3.5, right? Because I believe it opened up at, so it's still open. It's still at the 3.5. Because Boston is 13 and 18 to covering the spread. They are on the road 8 and 5 as favorites specifically. But Atlanta, they are, even though they are 21 and 22 to covering the spread currently, they are 7-11 at home to covering, but they're 14 and 9 covering the spread as underdogs, because currently they are underdogs, and they're 6 and 3 to covering at home as the underdog. So it's up to you on hearing and seeing this data for yourself, which way you would go if you decided to take the full game spread here. I was considering more so the over, which I still may take on the side as a side bet, because that's originally what I was going to do. But I said, you know what, I'm going to go ahead and test Boston's defense here to see if they could stop Atlanta from scoring points, right? But the over under, this is what it says for both. Atlanta are 8 and 10 to at home to the over under. They are 12 and 11 though, as underdogs to the over under. So they're just going over at home. As underdogs, but at home as well, just above 500, 5 and 4 to the over under as home underdogs. Here specifically, almost forgot to mention this too. Down here it says in the last 14 games, Atlanta Hawks are 5 and 3 against the spread as dogs here, and they're 2 and 0 in the last, I guess, 2 home games here, specifically to covering as home dogs to the spread. But down here, the over-under, 5 and 9, just in general to the over-under in the last 14 games, and 2 and 4 to the over-under at home. But Boston, when it's pertaining to the over-under, 8 and 13. They're 17 and 23 to the over-under in total, 8 and 13 on the road, 11 and 16 to the over-under as favorites, and then 4 and 9 to the over-under as away favorites, right? So, again, kind of pick your poison, what you really want to pick. Also down here it says they're in the last 14 games they're 6 and 2 to covering the spread. ATS just in general, just above 500, 6 and 5 to covering the spread as favorites, and then 4 and 2 on the road as favorites to covering the spread. But again, same thing with the Atlanta Hawks. The under is pushing more. 5 and 9 to the over under, just in general in the last 14 games. 3 and 5 to the over under as on the road. 4 and 7 to the over under as favorites, and then 2 and 4 in the last 6 games as away favorites. But here's the reason why I said I may consider taking the total over. It's 229.5 currently. I don't think it moved anywhere, right? Still 229.5. So this is again Moneyballer. This is what it says. Per specifically the spot, specifically at Atlanta in these last several games, this is where I kind of feel like the 230 will hit. So whenever the Celtics and Hawks have played against each other, specifically, just in general here, look at the totals above the 230. So when it's 237 and 238, it went under, hit 234. 233, it went under, right? So that's 2 games under, right? Above 230. When it was 244.5 here, it went under. And then 236, it went under. And then, but there was a game that it was 230, 231, it went over. But then there was another one where it was 231, and it went and it also went over, right? So there were 2 games. It was at the beginning. But again, anything under the 229.5, under the 230 where it's at now, 225.5, it went over. 226, it went over. 226 again, it went over. So that's 3 games right there. 229.5, the number, it went over. So that's 4. So for the games specifically, and all of those games were at Atlanta, they went over the total. So they're here in Atlanta tonight. I kind of feel like it's going to hit the 230 or higher. That's why I said I kind of feel like you know, you could possibly take the 230 over tonight, but I decided to go with Boston. Like I said, I'm probably still going to take the 229.5 over anyway, but I decided to go to test Boston's defense tonight, and I went with Atlanta scoring 114. They're averaging 115 in the last 10 games, 114 in the last 5, which is a spot that I want. Head to head, on the season they're 1-0. They scored that. Excuse me. I apologize. Last year they're 2-1. Last year they averaged 110 against them, but both games on the road they went above here. But then Boston specifically here on the road, this is what they've done in the last 10 games on the road. 1-0 again per the spot is 114. 1-1. Whoops. 2-1. 2-2. 3-2. 4-2. So the last 6 road games for Boston, they've allowed a team to score 114 points. And here's the other reason why I decided to go with this. If Dyson Daniels is playing in the game, this is what Atlanta does with him in the game. Not, what is that? 2, 4, 6, 7, and 1 to scoring the 114. They average 118 with him on the court. With him, this is with him without him on the court. Excuse me. I apologize. And if Dyson Daniels does play, this is just in general. This is what Atlanta does. They're still averaging 115, and they average 114, and this is just in the month here, right? So even in the month of January here, 1-1. Excuse me, at home specifically, they're 1-0. They've been on the road most of the time all month, so they're back at home. Second game at home, so they're technically 1-0. But in the last several games of the month, 1-1, 2-1. 2-2, 3-3, 4-4. So I personally feel like that Atlanta can still score this 114. The hope is that Dyson Daniels is in, even without him in. Personally, just believing that they can still score the 114. But again, side pick, I still believe this is going to hit the 230. Again, main reason in the 4 games that they played in Atlanta, Boston, here specifically, over the last since last year, the over hit 230. Again, especially if it's under 230, the over hit. So I'm going to more than likely take this 230, and I'm gonna probably do that right now because I don't want to have this line move and shift on me right now. So I'd rather take this where it is at, and I think I'm gonna do. It is kind of smart to do live picks sometimes because, again, we know that lines move. Come on. Just got to log in, and let's hope for the best. Let's see. Because, again, it's a minus 110. Go. Let's see what happens tonight. Oh, okay. All right, I was getting ready to say the whole. Why is it doing? There we go. Because I was going to be upset. Like, why is it saying one thing and that's not what I wanted? Okay. So that's that. Next up, Phoenix. Knicks. Phoenix and Knicks. This is what it says for them, for both teams, because this is what I believe can also still be a really good game. But again, it depends because lineup wise, Brunson is Q tagged, so he may or may not play. Booker's Q tagged, he may or may not play. If they're out, I would possibly say maybe take the under. Books currently believe it's going to go under. If they're both in, take the over for the total 225 and a half. That number has not changed. So there's that. I just had to grab a screenshot for the most original pick here. Okay. Oh, didn't mean to do that. So, Phoenix, they're underdogs currently against the Knicks. Knicks are back at home. They been on the road the last 4 games. They're back at home. Phoenix been on the road the last 2 games. Technically, been on the road for most of the last 10 games, but they've still been winning games, right? So, with this 2.5, right? I think the line may have moved. Let me just see here. It may have been up. Yeah, so it was technically was 3.5 before I started the stream. So now it's dropped down to 2.5. So here's what it says. Knicks at home specifically are 14-6 to covering the spread at home. They are 3-11 though in the last 14 to covering. 1-4 at home in these last 14 games. 4 of those games were at home, so they're 1-4, 2-9 as favorites to covering the spread, and at home, also again 1-4. But they are 4-1 to the over/under at home, 4-1 to the over/under at home as favorites, 29-12 to covering the spread, 12-2 to covering the spread, and then 7-2 to covering away. But again, they're not away, they're at home. Oh, excuse me, I apologize. This is the Suns. I apologize. Suns wise, they're 29-12 to covering the spread, 12-2 covering the spread in the last 14 games. On the road, they're 7-2 to covering, and then they are 5-2 to covering as road dogs. As underdogs. With that information, you got to take it with what you believe is comfortable for you. Again, more recently, the Knicks are 2-9 as favorites to covering the spread, and then 1-4 in their last 5 home games to covering the spread, and then also 3-11 just in general to covering the spread. While the Suns are 14-8, 14-10 as dogs to covering the spread. They're even 8-8 as away dogs, right? When it's pertaining to the total over/under, which kind of coincides, I want to say. No, it doesn't. So it's a little bit different. Both teams are on the opposites of the spectrum when it's pertaining to over/under. Suns are 17-24 to the over/under, even 11-11 on the road, even 12-12 as underdogs to the over/under. But they're 10-6 in these last 16 games to the over/under as away dogs. 12 and I just read all the spread stuff. But then currently in the last 14 games though, they are 5-9, 3-6 on the road, 3-4 as underdogs on the to the over/under. But they're 3-2 in the last 5 road games as away dogs. So again, but the Knicks are 9-5 to the over in the last 14 games. In those 14 games at home, they're 4-1 to the over. The last 11 games in these last 14 games as favorites, 7-4, and then 4-1 as home favorites to the over/under. So it's kind of like, which way do you really go? Do you decide to say go with the total over? Again, it opened up at 223. It's currently 224.5. Do you take the over here? Me looking at the data, it's 226. The Knicks are a possible trend because they're going over and under every other game type of thing in this spot here since December 31st. They went over, then they went under, over, under, over, under, over, under, over. Possibly in the spot that it goes under. But you have to decide for your spot. Do you go with that, or do you go with the Phoenix Suns in the last 10? 1-1, 1-3, 2-3, 2-4 to the over under in the last 10. Knicks on the road, 1-0 to the over, 2-0, 2-1. So they're the positive. So it's up to you. Me, what I did with the game, I went with one of my favorites. I took the Suns to cover a +1.5 spread. Here's why. Knicks, they're 2-8 in the last 10 to covering the -1.5 first half spread. while the Phoenix Suns are 7-3 to covering the first half spread plus 1.5. And even just in general, last 5, 4-1. Knicks are 1-4. And even more so at home, 0-1 in these last 5. Suns 3-0 in the last 5. Here specifically, when it's pertaining to the road games, for the Suns, 1-1, 2-1, 3-1, 4-2 in the last 6 road games. Knicks at home, 0-1, 0-2, 0-3. So that's why I said, you know what? Let me just go on ahead and take Phoenix. The question becomes, is Booker playing? We can even look at with Booker out. With him out, though, the 50-50, 5-5. We can look at the road games without him, 2-1, 2-2, 2-3, 3-3, 4-3, 4-4. So even 4-4 without Booker. The Knicks specifically, if say doesn't play, if Brunson is out. I didn't even know that Josh Hart was questionable. Look at that. With Brunson out, even 5-5 at home, 1-0, 2-0, 2-1. Let's see. Oops, I didn't mean to do that. Let's say if both Brunson and Josh are not in, they are 0-1. And that 0-1 was from last year on April 13th of 2025, where the Suns covered, Brooklyn covered this spot here, 66-62 in the first half. So there's that information. Let me reset this now. So again, that's why I said, let me go on ahead and take Phoenix. Just hope for the best for that spot. So that's that. Indiana versus the Detroit Pistons. This is what I did with this spot. I decided to go with the Pacers to score points against Detroit. Pacers have been covering a 12.5, right? Now I looked this information up. Now before we do that, because StatMuse, sometimes I use them too. They threw me for a loop on their data, so I'll give you the real information on per the number. Pacers. Now, this is the Pacers' second game of the back-to-back. 3 games of 4 nights, 4 games of 6 nights. Pistons are on the rest. They got the rest advantage. So I think that's one of the reasons why the spread is so high, because it's 12.5. They personally believe that the Pistons are going to run up the score. Cunningham is officially in. Stuart Thompson's in. Paul Reese questionable. So there's that. Indiana. Isaiah Jackson may play. I'll bring up information on that in a little bit. And Mathurin is still out. Toppin is still out. And of course, Halliburton's still out. But everybody's in. The Pacers just came off of that high-scoring game where they won at home against the Pelicans. I took the under on the game last night. It went over. It was like 246 instead of the 239. So I knew something was up when the total went up. I think it was like 2. It went up to 242 at the time. So as you see here, Detroit has not covered the actual 12.5. Most of the last 10 games, 7-3. They are 4-6 in the last 10 ATS, while the Pacers are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and 4. 7-3 ATS, and then 9-1 to covering the plus 12.5. So you figure them on the road, 1-0, 2-0 in the last 2 road games in these last 10. 3-0, 3-0. Detroit at home, 0-2, 2-2, 2-3, 2-3 in the last 5 home games. They're technically just under to covering the minus 12.5, right? But again, per Money Baller, this is what it says. Pistons are 3-11 to the total over. 0-6 to the over, right? This is in the last 14 games. 3-8 to the over. 0-5 to the over. Again, boy, this is them at home as well. 0-6 at home. And then per the spread, they're 21-18. 10-9 at home. 14 and 17 as favorites, 7 and 8 at home as favorites. And I just read to you the over for them, over under. Pacers are 22 and 20 covering the spread, 8 and 10 on the road, but 19 and 16 to covering the spread as underdogs, and then 8 and 9 as away underdogs. For them, the under has been hitting more than the over, 16 and 26, 6 and 12 to the under on the road, 14 and 21 as road dogs, 5 and 12 as road dogs. Again, these are the last 17 games. But there's a positive, 8 and 6 in the last 14 games to covering the spread, 3 and 2 on the road in the last 5, 7 and 5 in the last 12 games, technically the last 14, to covering as road dogs, 3 and 2 in the last 5 road games to covering. But when it's pertaining to the total over under, 5 and 9 in the last 14 games, 3 and 2 on the road, but 4 and 8 as underdogs on the road, but 3 and 2 on the road as a road dog. So you just have to consider what you would really want to do with this game here. Me personally, like I said, I looked it up when it's pertaining to the actual number here. This is where you can still consider taking the Pacers. So Pacers record, this is StatMuse, to a plus 12.5 spread. Now it does say this information 0 and 3, but that's not right. It's not correct at all. When you actually look at the actual score, this is what they are actually in the last 3 road games. On the season, when it's pertaining to the plus 12.5, is that the Pacers are actually 2 and 1 to covering the plus 12.5 on the road. They covered against the Rockets on the 29th of December. They covered on the road against Cleveland, losing by 11 points on the 21st of November. And in the same month, several games prior, they lost, though, and they did not cover against the Golden State Warriors. So that's the only spot that they did not cover this plus 12.5. So that's one of the reasons why I say you could possibly more than likely still lean towards taking the Pacers to cover this plus 12.5. The question becomes, though, what are you going to get with how the Pacers balled out in the last game? Are they going to score a specific amount of points? That's why I said, in one of those games, though, the I think it was Mathurin played, Cunningham didn't play, and Isaiah Jackson was, I think he started in both of those games, 2 of those games. So I said, I'm going to go on ahead and test Detroit's defense, and I'm going to see if they can stop the Pacers from scoring 108 points. Now I grabbed this on BetMGM at a minus 102. As you see, it shifted to a plus value. So now it dropped down to for them to not even score 107, but they do believe they're going to score 105 because it's a plus value for the under. All right. Now, this is what they've done in the last 10 games. They're averaging 115 in the last 10, 113 in the last 5 games. On the season, they're averaging 111, right? There's that information. The Pistons are allowing 111 points, 111, right? But more recently, in the month of January, they're actually playing better defense. Now, in the last 10 games, though, they've allowed 5 teams to score the 108 points that I need. But on the road specifically, when they're at home, they've only allowed 1 team to score 108 points, and that was Miami on the beginning of the month. All the other games at home, 4 straight games at home, they've stopped the team from scoring the 108. The only reason why they stopped Phoenix from scoring the 108 is because Devin Booker wasn't in. I faded the Pistons on their team total points in this game. It was 107 if I remember, or 108, one of the two, and they hit 105 and it worked out. But personally, if Booker was in, I would have taken the team total point over, and they would more than likely possibly scored 110 points or something like that. So that's just what I personally believe. With everything that you see here, just in the last 10 games, they're on the road. Pacers are 1-0, 2-0, 3-0 in the last 10 games to scoring 108 points. If you want to add another 10 to that, this is what they've done on the road in the last 20 games. And it reads this: 1-0, 2-0, 3-0, 4-0, 4-1, 5-1, 5-2, 6-2 to scoring 108 points in the last 8 road games out of these total 20 games. So that's why I say I still feel like that they can still score the 108 points tonight. So give me that. I'm just mad that I missed out on this plus value here, and that's okay. I'm going to go ahead and accept it and hope for the best for tonight. So there's that one. And this is the only other game that I looked up here where I just feel like it can work out because Charlotte has been balling, right? Charlotte, the Hornets have been balling. Another one where StatMuse kind of got their data wrong. I'll show you that in a second. Currently, at the time when I was looking at the information, the spread was 6.5, is now bumped up to 7.5. So let's do this Charlotte Warriors game. So automatically Money Baller saying to fade the Warriors because they shot so many threes. This is an in-season revenge spot. This is the first game of the back-to-back for Charlotte. They just came off of a win, right? So Charlotte are 10-4 to covering spread in the last 14 games. 7-2 in the last 14 games as on the road. 8-3 in the last 14 games as road dogs to covering, and then 6-2 as away dogs in the last 14 games to covering. It's pertaining to the Warriors covering the spread 20 and 22. Also forgot to mention the Hornets are 24-16-1, 13-9 on the road. But the Warriors are 12-9 at home to covering 57%, 15-16 to covering the spread as favorites, 11-7 though as favorites at home. But then 24-18 when it's pertaining to the over/under, 11-10 just above 500 to the over at home, 19-12 to the over/under. So the overs are hit more when they're favorites, right? And then they're 10-8 at home to the over/under as favorites as well. They're even 7-7 in the last 14 games to covering the spread. In the last 10 home games, though, 6-4 out of the 14. Last 13 games as favorites, 7-6, and then at home as favorites, 6-3 to covering the spread in the last 14 games. The Hornets, the only down scope when it's pertaining to all of their data is right here, 13-21 to the over/under as dogs. Everything else is positive. In the last 14 games, they've covered 10-4. In the last 9 road games, 7-2. In the last 12 games as road dogs, 8-3. The last 8 games as I apologize, as underdogs, but as road dogs in the last 8 games, 6-2. But then the even spot, 7-7 to the over/under, 5-4, just above 500 to the over, 6-5 as well, just above 500 as underdogs. So it's up to you if you want to take the over or the under. I decided to go with the actual full game spread, even more so because it moved to a plus 7.5. But here's some extra information for you when it's pertaining to the Hornets here. Record again to a plus 7.5 spread, right? This is what it says. It does say that they're 3-11 to a plus 7.5 on the season, but it is wrong. StatMuse is wrong. This is the actual real data here in these last several games on the season. In these last 10 games, These last 10 games, they are per plus 7.5, 1-0, 2-0, because they lost by 7 here against key team, Golden State. 3-0, because they lost by 7 against Cleveland. They got blown out against Detroit, so they're 3-1. 4-1, they beat Cleveland here. 4-2, they lost to Denver. 4-3. They lost to the Knicks in a blowout. So that's 4-3. 5-3. Beat Toronto. 6-3. Covered but lost. 7-3. Covered and lost. 7-4. 7-5. 7-6. 7-7. So they're even 7-7. Not a 3-11, but they're an even 7-7 specifically here, right? But we can even break it down to the road games here. Let's look at the road games specifically. On the road, though, per the plus 7.5, 1-0, 2-0, 2-1, 3-1, 3-2, 4-2, 5-2, 5-3, 5-4. So just above 500 to covering a plus 7.5 on the road. So I decided to say, you know what? Let me take a chance. Charlotte's been balling out. Personally, don't see them losing by 8 points tonight. Kind of didn't see them losing by 7 at the time. And again, in the last 10 games on the road here, 2-1, 3-1, 4-1, 5-1 to cover. I'll be back. Check, check, check. Testing, check. Check, check, check. Testing, check. Let's see. Check, check, check. Testing, check. Had a random disconnect. I think we're good. Just double checking. Check, check, check. Testing, check. Yeah, looks like we're good. OBS decided to bug out real briefly. Apologies about that. But like I was saying, I did dive into this Minnesota San Antonio game just a little bit. Kind of curious because Edwards is questionable. Castle, he's officially Q-tag. He's questionable. He hasn't played in a good while. The question becomes, is he going to play tonight? He's been officially Q-tag since last night, 6:51 p.m. in the evening as of last night. He may play tonight. That's the question at hand. Does he play? Do you consider still taking Minnesota to cover the plus 5.5? Just in general on OBS here. OBS. On Outlier, on the road, specifically the last 10. 2-0, 2-1, 3-1, 4-1, 4-2, 5-2 to covering plus 5.5. San Antonio at home, 1-0. Excuse me, 2-0, 2-1, 2-2, 2-3 in their last 5 road at home games. They're under 500 covering specifically. Just in general, they haven't covered a minus 5.5 at all. Really, 3-7, while Minnesota are 8-2 to covering plus 5.5. Now, if say Anthony Edwards was not playing in this game, they are still covering here. Specifically, they're still covering. Look at this. Even on the season, without Anthony Edwards in the game, if they decided to sit him again tonight, 2-0, 3-0, 4-0, 5-0, 6-0 without Anthony Edwards between this year and last year, that they've still been able to cover a plus 5.5. They lost to So let's look at this real quick. I don't think it gives me because they played last night. So let's see. I don't think it will give me the actual data. That's not it. So let's do ATS. Well, it should give me the back-to-back, right? Maybe not. Let me see. ATS wise for Minnesota, 18-24, 9-12 on the road, 4-5 as dogs, even 3-3 as away dogs. 19-13. 19-23 on the over/under. 13-8 to the over/under. What's the over/under total currently? It is 229. It was 228, so it's 230 now, right? No, 229. So because excuse me, because it's that, they have in the last 14 games on the road are 5-3, 2-1 as road dogs in the spot, and then 2-1. Well, excuse me, 2-1 as underdogs, and then 2-1 as road dogs. While San Antonio, when it's pertaining to the over/under, 2-12, 2-5 at home, 1-9 as favorites, 1-5 at home as favorites. Spread wise, 22-18, 10-7-2 at home to covering, but 12-13-2 as favorites, 8-7-2 to covering at home as favorites. But then you have them going under per the over/under, 17-25, 7-12 at home, 10-17 as favorites, 5-12 at home as favorites. So it's really up to you if you want to take this total over. It just literally just depends on what you're getting here. Who, again, is Anthony Edwards going to play? Is Castle going to play? Devin Vassell is still out. What do you really feel is the best spot for this game? That's the question at hand. Do you still decide to take, let's see, Minnesota on the road, 1-1, 2-1, 3-1, 4-1, 5-2 in the last 7 road games? The total has hit the over. San Antonio, specifically for them at home, 0-1, 0-2, 0-3, 1-4 in their last 5 home games. The total has gone over. Has gone under. So most of this is going under. Theirs is more sporadic possible to the over at 6-4. So it's really your decision. You can even look at the head-to-head on the year. They're 1-1. They went over at Minnesota. Both games were at Minnesota. One game went over, one game went under. So the question becomes, what's going to happen in this game here? Because on the season, they're 1-1. When it's pertaining to the actual full matchup, they are 4-2 to the over. At least the line. But when it's pertaining to 229, they're 2-4 to the over, because actually they've actually gone under more than anything. So at least for the 229. So maybe it does still go under. Maybe we'll see, but that's pretty much what I saw. Let me look at something real quick. Maybe because the one thing that I keep missing out is on DiVincenzo's threes, but it was more so back here because he decided to actually do some damage. Because I took him for 4 threes, like must have been roughly around here, and he had like 1, and then he picked it up here. He had back to back. He had 4 threes or more, 3 games out of 4, but he's been back down. The question becomes, could he hit, say, 4 tonight? It's a plus 120 for him to get the 4, but they believe he's going to go under. Per the position, they allow 4 to the position. They've only allowed DiVincenzo. He hit 5 against them on the 11th, so he may possibly have their number. Let's see. He does currently on the season 4-5, twice on the year. The 30th, and again, like I said, on the 11th, he hit 5. The question becomes, could he do it again tonight? But again, Anthony Edwards, I don't think he played that game. Let me find out here. Let's see. Did he play in that game? He did play. He had 23 points in the low scoring spot. So even with him on the court, he still got the 5. So it is up to you what you want to do with that. I may take this again, see if he gets the 4, at least the 4. It's a plus 120. Well, let's see, because again, it says, whoops, I didn't mean to click you. I meant to click DiVincenzo, because again, there's different line spots here. So it says plus 120 here on my laptop. Let's see what it actually says on my phone. Is it still plus 120, or is it a different number? Let's find out. So DiVincenzo for 4 threes. It's still a plus 120 currently. Plus 120 on the score app here. And then there's a, if you have Novik, there's a plus 128, and there's a plus 115 on BetMGM. So it's really up to you if you want to take DiVincenzo for his threes tonight. Again, he currently has the, just like with the Klay Thompson pick, currently has the San Antonio Spurs number. He hit 2 threes at home. 4 threes at home. They're allowing 4 to the position. Let's look at this. But at home, let's see. Kevin Porter, they stopped him from hitting. Gary Trent comes off the bench. They stopped AJ. He's a starter. He hit 2, so he was 2 off. Wallace is sometime on starting, but I want to say that he started that game. They shut him down. They shut Aaron Wiggins down. He comes off the bench. Caruso comes off the bench. He was 2 off. Jalen Williams, they shut him down, but he hasn't really been playing well. Again, this is all in the month. AJ Mitchell, he comes off the bench. Isaiah Joe off the bench. He hit 2 off. So the only real starters were Kevin Porter, so 0-1. Let's say Wallace started 0-2. And Jalen 0-3. So 1-3. We'll say 1-3. The last 4 starters that they actually saw. Let me just look at this up. It might be a different note. Let me see about this 13th here. Did Aaron start? Is that the 13th? Okay, there we go. Yeah, it looks like he did. He played 26 minutes. So he more than likely started that game, but they shut him down. He went 1 for 5. So fascinating. It says he on the 13th. It says here on my phone that but it says here that he made 2. So maybe it was maybe he went 2 for 6 or something, or 2 for 5. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm looking at the wrong thing. I apologize. He went 2 and 3. So he didn't start. So he came off the bench. So technically 1 and 2 to stopping the starters in these last 10. So yeah. So just below 500. I think I'm going to take this. I think I'm going to do this live. I'm going to just take this as a straight bet here. Just say screw it. Do it. Take it. But I don't think I can do it on, because I think I used up all my, I may be wrong. Let's find out. Because I might even, parlay him and Klay together on the slip for threes. Yeah, I can do it. I'm gonna put this in. I didn't mean to do that. Like I said, maybe he picks it back up. Now he's had in his last 10 games, he did go 3 games where he didn't hit, the 4. Let's see. But he only did it once. He's had 3 games where we went 3 straight on these last 20 games. He did it again here. Okay, he did it on the season 3 straight, but as far as like not getting it, he did it twice. Way at the beginning, and then, but he still hit 3 though, so that's still a thing. So there's that. So all right, but I'm gonna take this. Let's see if he actually on the road. Maybe he can still hit 4 threes tonight. Let's see. I'm just going to throw, because I may want to use this other booster here that I have on the app. So I'll just use a couple bucks on that. See if I can win something back. And then I'll try to use that other booster on a 4-leg parlay for something. But yeah, the only other thing that I have, I did do per 3-pointers. I did do this hours ago. I took Mikal Bridges and Miles Bridges, a Bridges 3-pointer parlay, and I parlayed them together. Bridges was a minus 164 for 2 threes. Miles Bridges was a minus 184 for 2 threes. I can show you. Stuff may have changed, so give me a moment here. Also too, I forgot to mention about this. This I forgot to mention about the Thunder. My Thunder. I forgot to mention. Um, let's dive into my Thunder real quick. We're on the road against Miami. I apologize. Good thing I queued that up because I'm considering taking my Thunder to cover the plus 6.5. But I'm taking Miami to cover against my Thunder. If Hero plays, then I'm going to take Miami to cover the first half spread here. If he doesn't, then I probably just won't take the spot. So here's why. So my Thunder, we still kind of suck covering spreads. We're 4-6, right? 1-5 in the last 6 games. Miami 3-2 in the last 5, but 8-2 in the last 10 games of covering the plus 6.5. They've been handling their business. Specifically at home, 2-0, 4-0, 6-0 at home. My Thunder on the road, 1-0, 1-1, 3-1 though. We've actually covered on the road, 3-1. It's a positive, but I still kind of believe that Miami could cover. But I need Hero in. If he's in, then I'll take this spot. But per the data here, the spread is currently still 6.5, right? So the question becomes, because Miami's still covering, they're covering ATS. They're 23-18, covering spreads, 12-9 at home, 13-8-1 as dogs because they're underdogs currently, 4-2 at home as underdogs. They are also 5-3 in the last 8 games of the last 14 games, 5-3 as underdogs, but they are 1-2 at home in the last 14 games. 3 of those games were at home. They're 1-2, and they are 4-3 at home in the last 14 games, and 8-6 in the last 14 games. So they're like covering, sort of, kind of covering, right? But my Thunder, we're just like, this is us, right? 20-21 even to cover the spread, 9-10 on the road, 21-21 as favorites, 9-10 on the road. In the last 19 road games, 21-21 to the over/under, 9-10 to the over/under on the road, 21-21 as favorites, 9-10 to the over/under as away favorites, 6-8 in the last 14 games to cover the spread, 2-3 on the road to cover the spread, 6-8 as favorites, 2-3 as away favorites. You know what I mean? Like, it's like we're still just not doing so well. That's one of the reasons why I'm sitting there thinking, like, well, maybe we still cover maybe Miami still covers this plus 10.5. I truly believe that they will, but they may still possibly lose this game. We'll see. If Hero's out, then sure, you may want to consider taking my Spurs to cover the minus 10.5, maybe. But plus there's EV on that. Let's see. Let's say if Tyler's out, right? Let's see. Miami's still covering without Tyler Hero. Look at this. They're still 8-2 to covering the plus 10.5. They are ATS wise 4, 6, 7-3 ATS without Hero, while us, we're still slacking, right? So it's up to you if you want to take the heat to cover this 10.5 or even the actual spread. When it's pertaining to the total, it's really up to you. Maybe it goes under, maybe, right? There's EV to the under. Head-to-head wise, it went under at 234. It went over. I apologize. Went over. Hit 236 on the 11th earlier, where we won by 12 points, but Miami covered the plus 14.5 in that game. So it's really up to you if you want to do it. Books currently believe it's going to go under this time. So we'll see. We will see. But like I said, my main spot is for Miami to cover this plus 6.5 first half spread, as long as Tyler Hero is in. So it's up to you what y'all want to do with this information. But that's pretty much that. That's it as far as I got. I didn't dive into too much of the other games. I didn't dive into the Washington Denver game, Lakers Portland. Look at that. Lakers are not even favorite. what do you really even consider doing? Maybe you take the over. There's EV to the over. Lakers games have been going over 70%, 50% for the Blazers. At home, 0-1, 1-1, 1-3, 2-3, 3-3 even at home. Lakers on the road, 1-2. So 1-2 on the road in the last 10 to the over under, pretty much going under more. So I'm saying, do you possibly take the under? What are the Lakers doing on the road? 110, 112, 111. So 2 games. 2 of those games they hit 110. Because I was using my look when I'm looking at a total or I'm looking at a team to score points. I look to see if they scored 110 points or at least 110 points within a 10 game time span. Portland, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Specifically, 5 of these games are at home. They've scored 110 points or higher. Maybe I take Portland to score 100. Let me see what their spot is though. They got them scoring 114. Okay. So they're averaging 114 in the last 10. They are averaging 108 though, just shy of 109 though in the last 5 games. Lakers are allowing 117 to currently to a team scoring. Let's look at the Lakers on the road. 1-0 in the last 10. 1-0, 1-1, 1-2. So in the last 3 road games, they actually stopped 2 teams from scoring 114 points. But outside of that, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of the last 10 teams that they faced have actually scored the 114. So do with that what you will. That's the thing. Even just in the last 5, 3 of those games they hit 110 or higher. 2 of those games actually got the 114. In the last 10 they did better on the back end. So it's like more recently, and I think more recently is due to the fact that Denny hasn't been in, so he's still out. Grant is questionable now. No, excuse me, he's still questionable. Holiday's Q-tagged as of the last night. Holiday, he's Q-tagged. So let's see. Let me see something. Let me see. Let's say you're out. You're out. Let's say Grant doesn't play. Denny's automatically out. Holiday, he doesn't play. They are averaging 109 on at home, 1-2, 1-3, 2-3 to scoring 114. So let's say Grant and Holiday are in. They're averaging still 108. But this is just in general. At home, 1-0, 1-1, 1-2, 2-2, 2-3, 2-4 to not scoring. So maybe you fade. Maybe possibly you fade. But again, it depends on what the Lakers defense is going to do, because they've done 3 straight games where they've allowed a team to score. One of those games was on the road. It's up to you what you want to do. That's just something that I was possibly that popped up in my head just now looking at the information here. I just don't know what to do with the spread here, or maybe even first half. Let me see. Portland's been covering more recently in first half. Well, not more recently, but no, they haven't. 4 straight, they haven't. Books believe the Lakers are going to cover, but they haven't covered. Head to head, they're 1-1 against the Lakers covering, but they were on the road. They didn't cover on the 3rd of November. Pick your poison on this one. We'll see, but I don't know. I can't really find anything. Like I said, if anything, maybe consider taking the under. Maybe it might go over, and then, like I said, maybe take Portland team total points over or under tonight. Depends, but you got to wait and see if Grant is in and Holiday. If they're in, I would take the points. I'll take the team total points. If they're not, either fade the team total points or just not put the bet in. But that's that. I shall be back tomorrow. We have 12 o'clock, and that's because that's in London. Orlando and Memphis play again. Memphis is supposed to be the home team, but I took Orlando to cover the -4.5 in their Germany game, and it worked out. Gladly, I'll take that. And we'll see. So there's what? 2, 4, 6 games tomorrow. I'm already liking this Brooklyn-Chicago game. Maybe take Houston Rockets team total points over tomorrow. And I'm going to see, because I might decide to take, because Memphis covered the first half spread comfortably yesterday, and then that's when Orlando came back and went on that run, and then it was back and forth until the late fourth quarter, and then they, pulled that win out and covered, right? They beat them 118-111. So this is their second matchup. So maybe Memphis, my Grizzlies, maybe we flip the script tomorrow and cover this time. We've actually been covering 3 of the last 5. They've covered back to back. So we'll see. But I'm going to look into that game probably today, see if I see any data for tomorrow, and who knows, we'll see. But I'm out. Follow me over on my Discord. Look me up. Bet at your own risk. Go join thewop.com. Top Sports Debate. This is where we are. This is where I'm at. Going to be doing a community parlay in probably a couple hours, because I know there's a football game coming on and people are not going to be paying too much attention to me. They really, so going to try to do a community parlay here. The community parlay yesterday went 1-2. When the day before here it went 2-1. So just barely missed 2, because one of the players, we just needed him to get I think it was had him for 10 rebounds and assists, and he had 7. He was sitting on 7 for a while, and I thought that he was possibly gonna get it late game. And I think they even went into OT too. So still didn't get it. Finished with 7. Should have faded. So there's that. And I should have taken, because I didn't mention this in the stream yesterday, I should have taken DeMar DeRozan here on the channel. I was talking about that. I was like, DeMar DeRozan, feel good about his rebounds and assists, but I also feel good about his actual assist number at 4. And yeah, missed opportunity. And the only other spot, real quick sidebar, was for the Washington Wizards. Johnson for the Wizards. He literally had a live assist for 4. You sitting on 0. It was a plus 490. But I was so tired, I didn't really think to I saw it and I was like, okay, maybe I put this in, and I fell asleep. Woke up with him hitting 4 assists on the nose. It was a plus 490. It was a live bet that I should have put in. I'm still upset at myself. I fell asleep last night on that. Should have taken it. But anyway, enough of my rambling. I'm out. Y'all stay safe, stay humble. Let's hope for the best for the slate tonight, and just in general with life. But I'll holler at y'all later, guys. Peace.